top 5 WWE/WWF/WWF World Champions of all time. I'm
pretty sure it's just Bruno Sammartino 5 times.
It's not Bruno Sammartino. Give me your top 5. You start.
I mean, Bruno's got to be on there. I mean, he is the longest reigning WWF champion of all time. He was absolutely incredible in his time period.
Combined 12 years.
Yeah, he meant everything to the business. Hulk Hogan's got to be in there. I know he won't make some lists just due to the fact that people hate Hulk Hogan now, but I just don't think he gets mentioned the way that he should. Even those of us that weren't fans of his in our childhood, you couldn't escape Hulkamania. This isn't going to make a lot of lists, but superstar Billy Graham, to me, it was somebody who evolved the sport and was one of the first people to really influence the change from professional wrestling to sports entertainment with his microphone work, with his mic work. He wasn't necessarily the best in-ring general, but he's one of the best of all time. John Cena, if he doesn't make your list, I'm sorry for you, because he has held the belt as many times as anybody in the sport, and he has meant as much over the last 20 years to the WWE as anybody possibly could have. And then the 5th spot, to be honest with you, was the toughest one.
Sure.
Because there are so many WWF champions, because they've watered down the pool by making everybody, hey, you want a belt? You want a belt? Oh, you get a belt. And, oh, you're now a 13-time champion. They've watered it down to a point where it's pretty much pointless at this point to pick anybody else from the modern day. So I'm just going to go with The Rock just because of what he's meant with, quite frankly, sports entertainment and reaching the masses. And the guy's a freaking one of the biggest megastars in the world.
2 people I have some of the list there. I have Hogan, I have Bruno, and I have Cena. Where we disagree is on the 2 other people.
I didn't think you would have superstar Billy Graham. I think that you would hear that and go, oh shit. But I still don't think he'd make your list.
No.
One guy. If anything, maybe Backlund.
You're going to accuse me of being biased, but I put Brett on there.
Yeah, no shit.
I think that Brett, I'll tell you who my other guy is. You'll agree with my other guy. But I think that Backlund was a great champion. I think the reason why I picked Brett was, besides being a 5-time WWE champion at the time, the thing about Brett was, after the Hogan era, he really changed what it was to be a WWF champion. Like, he got the work rate. And then it's the guys like Shawn and everybody kind of follow.
So the problem is you only get 5 spots.
I know. And I can see why I wouldn't. But yeah, and that is my last one right there. Steve Austin. And I was going back and forth between Steve and Rock. And ultimately, I just felt like Steve meant a lot more to the wrestling business. Rock's clearly the bigger star, especially now. That's not even close anymore. There ain't nobody in the wrestling business even touching The Rock anymore in terms of stardom. Forget it. Game over. You're done. But, and I think this is the one where me and you might agree, much like you're like, I think you'd say, okay, maybe Steve over The Rock. I don't know. But then you could argue.
No, I can definitely go with Steve Austin. And that's who I was juggling with The Rock. And the reason why I went with superstar Billy Graham was because of how many people stole his style afterwards, including the guy Hulk Hogan.
I get it. And that's similar to what I did with Brett in terms of in-ring. You went more with the mic. So no doubt about it. Really hard to go wrong and really hard to limit this just to 5. There are so many great WWF champions. Like we heard in the comments there, Buddy Rogers didn't make our list. But to be fair, to me, Buddy Rogers was a quick transitional champion. He was the first ever. Now we're talking about Backlund. Here's a joke. He's out of here. But
need to handle this.
Bob Backlund, he was a great WWF champion. Held it for, I want to say, 4 to 6 years, his first run. And then he came back and won it almost 20 years later. So, I mean.
Wait a minute, who are you talking about?
Backlund.
Oh, Backlund, absolutely. Backlund definitely had an opportunity to be in there and meant as much to the business as anybody in that time period. He was supposed to just be transitional. Superstar Billy Graham was the transitional champion because you were going babyface to babyface. They didn't want to take anything away from Bob Backlund being a babyface by having him beat Bruno.
Right.
So, but Backlund wasn't supposed to be the champion as long as he was. He was just beloved by Vince McMahon Sr. And then Vince McMahon Jr. was absolutely appalled by how boring he thought.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about Backlund. I mean, in terms of legitimacy, in a time period where you had hookers and shooters and people that might try to legitimately beat up your champion, you really couldn't go wrong with having Bob Backlund as your world champion. He was more than handling himself.
No, nobody could actually get the belt off him unless he wanted to. And at least when the Iron Sheik went in there in the ring with him, you had somebody else who was a world-class wrestler at the same time. But it was a similar thing with Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan talks about stories about being nervous going in there with the Sheik because there was all kinds of talk about the Sheik maybe breaking his leg or freaking not wanting to give him the belt.
Now, do you think that Backlund doesn't get the credit he deserves?
I don't think he does. He made everybody look fantastic. If you look at his matches, look at his bunkhouse match matches with Sergeant Slaughter. Absolutely incredible.
Is that even or Patterson had those?
Well, no, he had those. Patterson had them also, but they both did them. The difference is that Backlund, obviously being the champion at the time, Backlund doesn't get the credit anywhere near what he deserves.
What is this here? We got Finn Balor for WWE title after New Year, triple threat WWF, GOAT of NXT, and inaugural Universal Champion for WWE title, and hopefully win King of the Ring before getting released. Yeah, Finn had a very short reign, only because of the injury and stuff like that. He's a guy I'd like to see them do more with and actually put the title on and get a run with.
I don't know why they seem to not want to do anything with Finn Balor.
Yeah.
People get behind him. People love the Demon. People love what he does. He's a great heel when he wants to heel. He's great offense when he wants to be on offense.
I'd be curious when his contract comes up. I'd be wondering where he ends up. Crowded, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's starting to get a little crowded on the other side.
Yeah, which is why I don't think Johnny Gargano is going to pick a spot right away. I think we'll see him wait it out. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'd be curious. If we were doing, if this wasn't just top 5 WWF champions of all time, if this was just top 5 world champions of all time, how many of the guys you pick would still make your list? I feel like Bruno still has to make a list.
How does Bruno not make the list?
Right.
There's nobody who you got to remember, in that time period, the WWF was literally running basically 3 big venues. Right. The big venues were Boston Gardens, Madison Square Gardens, and Philadelphia. And it was very big on heritage and ethnicity and stuff like that. And they had this Italian champion who meant the world to those fans. And they had that in every culture for some reason. They had their heels were a certain ethnic background. Right. You had Pedro Morales, who was once again huge, the Hispanic background. And in that time period, nobody was larger in the WWF or in that spectrum and nobody sold out Madison Square Garden more. Mm-hmm. Like the Buzz is saying, it's the classic WWF model. It's what they did. It was a good guy and a bad guy, and whatever market you were in, if you were a large Hispanic crowd, your Hispanic guy, they would bring Pedro there, and that would be huge, and they would have a villain go after him.
Absolutely. Even Hulk Hogan was kind of, I think, derivative, they were trying to do the Irish population and stuff like that.
At first, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you were doing this just as world champions, I would say off the top of my head, and I probably think about this a little more, Race, Bruno, Hogan, Flair is almost my immediately top 4, and then
NWA is so much easier than the WWF. Thesz has got to be on the list in my opinion, because he held the belt for a longer period of time than most human beings did, and his career spans so long. Then you've got Flair, obviously, Race. If you want to throw the Briscoes in there, you can throw Jack Briscoe in there. Dusty Rhodes.
A top 10 of top world champions. I feel like Vern Gagne might even make a list, even though it's AWA, just because AWA was a powerhouse at one point, and he was basically the man. Even though obviously he owned the promotion, but
AWA would be a lot easier. There's Vern Gagne, Nick Bockwinkel, and then that's it.
It might be, but now, those are the top 2 that come to my mind. Other than guys that really didn't hold it too long, but Kurt Hennig and Jerry Lawler.
Sure, Jerry Lawler, Kurt Hennig. Lawler still has the belt.
Yeah, he does have the belt. Yeah, he never gave it away.